Okay, so if you've ever, stared at a blank screen, maybe working on a big presentation or a paper, or even just trying to kickstart something creative, you know that feeling, right? When your brain just stops. You've got the time, maybe the energy, but ideas, they've just vanished. It's what the sources we looked at call cognitive fixation, basically getting stuck in your usual ways of thinking.
Yeah, it's a total efficiency killer. And that brings us right to the tool we're digging into today, the random topic generator. Now, this isn't just some simple box that spits out random words. It's actually designed pretty cleverly to bypass that mental friction you mentioned, that fixation. Think of it like a strategic tool. Its job is to force a shift in perspective, giving you these unexpected subjects that hopefully spark some immediate effort.
Oh, I like that framing a strategic tool for forced perspective shifts. Because, yeah, the point isn't just to write something, it's to think differently, right? And the process, it relies on you feeding it something first, like your interests, maybe some themes, keywords.
Exactly. You give it some anchors. And then the generator uses those, but mixes things up to deliver, well, surprising variety. The promise is it's a shortcut past all that time wrestling with your own brain trying to find the idea.
Right, avoiding the mental comfort zone, pushing you into novelty, like you said.
Yeah.
Whether you're trying to build up a writing portfolio or find some obscure research angle, or maybe just get better at debating different
It
points.
gives you that little shock to the system you sometimes need.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive then is to really unpack how these things work, these digital muses. How do they actually get beyond just being a fancy suggestion box? And more importantly, how can you harness that power to gain knowledge, get fresh perspectives quickly, and hopefully cut down that ideation time?
Okay, let's unpack this, maybe starting under the hood. Yeah, let's do that. To really get the quality of the output, we need to look past just saying algorithms. These generators, they operate on some pretty sophisticated principles.
Hmm.
At their core, yeah, they're analyzing a huge database. Themes, keywords, even narrative structures. They often use natural language processing, NLP, to understand the connections, the semantic relationships between the words you put in and what's in their database.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just seeing the word space. It understands space connects to astronomy, rockets, zero G, maybe aliens.
Exactly.
But if it's that smart, what stops it just giving me the same few ideas, the statistically common ones?
And that's the crucial bit. This is where the source is really focused. They build in deliberate randomness, often using models a bit like Markov chains or other kinds of statistical text generators. This makes sure the way it blends keywords is genuinely unpredictable. If it just relied on, say, weighted probabilities based on common connections.
It would just give you what you expect.
Exactly. It would just confirm your existing biases. It always suggests the easiest, most obvious topic for you.
Ah, okay. So the randomness isn't just for fun. It's technically bypassing confirmation bias. That's actually pretty powerful. The algorithm forces you to grapple with an idea you probably wouldn't have picked yourself because it's not like the path of least resistance in your head.
Precisely. And the sources suggest that's why people report a real cognitive benefit. It's not thinking for you. It's forcing you to forge new neural pathways by making you connect maybe disparate concepts. That friction, that moment where you have to figure out how marine biology connects with 18th century fashion, for example, that's where the real insight can happen.
And the results, like you said, can be incredibly broad then. You might get something for a quick, lighthearted talk.
Yeah, or you might get the seed for a really deep, nuanced piece of serious journalism. The range is huge.
And that range is key.
It is. And that diversity of output leads us right into the strategic advantages. We mentioned efficiency already. That's the immediate win. Just the speed going from zero to an actionable idea.
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Beyond just saving time, that strategic edge comes from breaking that cognitive fixation we started with. I was actually surprised how much the sources emphasized Speed 1 analysis mentioned, like a 40% drop in initial idea finding time?
Yeah, something like that. And that speed doesn't have to mean lower quality. Often it enhances it by forcing a unique angle. If you always pick topics you know well, your work can get predictable. These generators push you towards diversification. By having to adapt your style or structure for a totally different theme, say, you usually write political stuff, now you're scripting historical fantasy.
You get more versatile.
Drastically.
Yeah.
You enhance your overall versatility as a communicator.
And that versatility, that's real currency for learners today, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's also interesting how the resources broke down different types of generators. They're not all the same.
Not at all. We can kind of group them by what's in their database and what the algorithm's trying to achieve. First, you've got your creative writing prompts. These are designed for maximum novelty, really focusing on characters, settings, weird conflicts, like pairing a haunted vending machine with a protagonist who can only communicate through interpretive dance. Just pure fuel for fiction.
Okay, wild. Then you've got more structured ones, like for academic topics.
Exactly. These aren't usually generating totally outlandish stuff. They tend to pair existing fields with maybe adjacent or contrasting ones, helping researchers find unique intersections for papers or essays, connecting urban infrastructure design with linguistic anthropology, perhaps.
That sounds potentially groundbreaking, actually.
It can be. And these academic tools often use heavier keyword weighting, just to make sure there's a baseline of relevance and depth. Then for specialists, there are niche generators, highly specific. If you work in, say, cybersecurity or medieval history, the generator uses a custom vocabulary. Keeps the output relevant to your field, but still random within it.
Gotcha. And the last category, the simplest.
Yeah, the random phrases or questions, these are almost pure thought starters. Great for things like debate prep or just breaking inertia in a brainstorm. They often throw out simple but provocative paradoxes like, is silence a form of communication?
So that range means you can pick a tool that fits what you need from total chaos to something more guided.
Exactly. Tailor it to your outcome.
It's a powerful toolkit. But, this raises a question a critical learner should ask. If I start relying on a machine for ideas all the time, am I weakening my own creative muscle? Is there a risk of, intellectual dependence? Did the sources talk about that?
Yeah, that's a really necessary question. And the sources do address it, mainly by emphasizing balance. The tool is meant to be a spark, not a replacement for your own thinking. If you use it every single day for every single idea, then yes, you probably risk that muscle getting weaker, atrophy. But if you use it strategically, like when you're truly stuck, it's more like cognitive physiotherapy. It forces your brain to practice connecting those different ideas, which in the long run should actually make you stronger. The reliance isn't on the output, it's on learning from the process of forced connection.
That makes perfect sense. Leverage the tool to train the brain, not replace it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we maximize that training then? What are the practical tips?
Okay, first, setting specific goals. Really important. Don't just hit generate endlessly. Define what you need. Like, I need 3 unique plot twists for this chapter. Or find me one research angle combining tech and history. Be specific.
And when that weird, maybe slightly unsettling topic pops up, you have to actually commit to it, right? Dive deeper.
Absolutely. And diving deeper shouldn't just be random notes. Try something structured, like a mind map with a random topic right in the center that immediately branch out. Historical context, current relevance, potential objections. It pushes you straight into research and synthesis, gets the most value from that random seed.
And crucially, like we talked about, don't run away from the weird ones. That marine biology and 18th century fashion idea, that's probably the one that leads somewhere memorable because it's non-intuitive.
Yes, the sources consistently highlighted that. The biggest breakthroughs often came from the most improbable prompts. Oh, and another simple tip that boosts the value. Collaboration. Get a really bizarre prompt. Share it with a colleague right away. Their perspective might unlock an angle you completely missed.
Good idea. Okay, let's get into some nuances. Customization. Can you narrow it down? If I only want ideas about, say, the Industrial Revolution.
Yes, you definitely can with many tools. More advanced generators allow pretty sophisticated filtering. You can often put in negative keywords, things you don't want. And you can assign weights to your main keyword, so it refines the output. It's random within your defined area, which is vital for projects needing some specific grounding.
Right. And on that technical grounding, what about genre suitability? If I'm writing technical manuals or complex legal documents, is this still useful?
Probably not for the final product directly.
Yeah.
It's fantastic for sparking an initial idea, maybe finding a unique analogy or a different way to structure information, but it doesn't have the domain expertise, right? It can't guarantee the accuracy or depth needed for highly technical or regulatory writing. Our sources were clear. For that stuff, you still need specific guidelines, expert input, validation. It's an inspiration engine, not a domain expert engine.
Good distinction. Good to have that clarity. And finally, practical stuff. Access. Do I always need internet? And what's the cost usually look like?
Internet. Not always. Lots of software versions, apps, they're designed to work offline once you've downloaded them. Great if you're traveling or working somewhere remote. As for cost, it's tiered. You'll find plenty of good generators with free access, usually with maybe smaller databases or fewer features.
Enough to try it out properly.
Exactly. But if you need the full power, the huge database, the really fine-grained filtering, the advanced NLP stuff, then yeah, you're probably looking at a subscription for those premium features. Key is just check the terms, match the tool's depth to what you actually need.
And frequency. How often should people be hitting generate?
Probably best to use it only when you're actually blocked. If you use it constantly, you risk building that reliance we talked about. The advice seems to be intermittent, strategic use. Use it to break a pattern, then step back and develop the idea yourself. That balance helps ensure you're building creative independence, not dependency.
This has been really insightful. It's clear this tool is way more sophisticated than just shuffling words. The random topic generator, it feels like a secret weapon, not just for writer's block, but for strategically building cognitive elasticity, enhancing your skills by forcing you to explore.
So what does this all mean? Well, it means embracing the unexpected isn't just luck. It's a measurable strategy for improving how you think. By understanding the mechanics, the NLP, maybe those Markov chains, the strategic use of randomness, you gain knowledge you can apply right away, enhancing your writing, your presentations, how you prepare, saving time, and boosting the quality of what you produce.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up, maybe let's leave you with this thought to chew on. We know these generators push you towards non-obvious topics and that the most uncomfortable ones often yield the biggest insights. So how might intentionally seeking out a deliberately uncomfortable or non-intuitive random topic change things? Not just the work itself, but maybe your fundamental approach to solving problems or innovating in your day-to-day challenges. Something to think about until our next deep dive.